Okay, greetings and peace, everyone. This is relationship anatomist, personal development, and relationship consultant Neo Askuwheteau, and I am here to share some info with you guys about how to recover from a relationship breakup. And this is even also a friendship breakup, but on the most part, I'm speaking about a committed romantic, long-term, serious relationship, whatever you want to call it, and which nowadays there's more like situations rather than real deal committed relationships. And a lot of people know what I mean by situations, which is really friends with benefits, the FTBs nowadays that's going on over and over again. But let me get to straight to the point. For me, I started my personal development process and also my relationship research and an examination years ago after I went through my own breakup with the woman who said that I had the potential, but I just wasn't the one for her at that time. And for me, after that, I sat down to myself and I said to myself, really, what is the next thing for me to do? And at that time, I wanted, I was listening to my ego and I wanted to just move on to another woman. However, at the same time, my spiritual side, my spiritual guidance came through and said to me, what makes you think that you're prepared for another relationship? And I sat down and I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, that is true. Because nobody taught me relationships. My mother, my father didn't teach me. And damn sure my sisters can't teach me because they are like way in left field, like lost somewhere. So they still have recovery to do. So I said, you know what? Well, it's time for me to figure out a way to actually learn relationships. So that's exactly what I did. So I went on my own journey, personal growth, to learn relationships, studying a variety of magazines like the Psychology Today, and one of the top books that really got me started is the book Straight Talk for Men about marriage. The other book is Understanding People, the 5 Hidden Secrets of Human Behavior. And definitely last but not least is the book Artificial Maturity. And that artificial maturity tells a lot about what's going on these days, and it is true. A lot of people have artificial maturity and they're more immature than they think. And a lot of people throughout my examination of relationships and life in general in psychology, I've noticed that the so-called adults who think that because they have a car, a house, their own money, and even children, they think that that considers them as an adult. But no, adult maturity requires psychological maturity first and foremost, and that comes from personal development process. So let's go ahead and get started with talking about how to recover from a relationship breakup. And I say recover because these days what people do is they just distract themselves from the situation of the breakup rather than actually psychologically recovering from it. Because a lot of people, what they'll do is when a breakup occurs, whatever way it occurs, and one terrible way that it'll occur is through a text message. People have done that before, and that is so immature and so lack of accountability, and that will really show you the maturity level of an individual who does that. However, there might be a situation where they have no choice but to do it through text, and I understand that aspect. But if a person can actually speak with a person at least on the phone, voice to voice, if not face to face, then that will be the wisest choice to go with, the wisest mature decision. So what they'll do is instead of actually sitting down and focusing on psychological recovery, what most people will do is they'll find a way to distract themselves after they go through all of the crying, the distraught moments. the anxiety, and I know how that feels. Oh my God, that shit sucks. I'm glad now that I have developed a high level of psychological strength and resiliency to the point now when I go through certain situations that most people consider disappointing or stressful, I can just bounce right out of it, and bounce right back to my normal self and focus on learning from that situation. And that is the key. After you go through your crying, your disappointments, and all of that crazy low level human crap, what you got to let it come out. You can't bottle it up, because that's one major issue that people do is bottling up their emotions rather than letting them come out. If you really feel like you want to cry and you have to cry, I don't care how big of a man you are, muscularly, or old you are, or I don't care how much of a woman you are. If you really feel like you have to cry, I'm telling you, you gotta let it out, because your emotions have to process themselves. They have to go through a process so that they can flush out and play out. If they don't play out, and if you bottle them up and you put them inside your mind under the rug and you hide them, at some point they're going to pop up at the wrong time within your relationships, and they're going to sabotage your relationships and or life in one way or another. So you have to find some way to process these emotions and let them out. So even if it means you got to go by yourself in your room, close your door, and cry, do it. Just go ahead and just do it. You got to let it out. However, if you want to do it another way, just sit down by yourself, take deep breaths, calm down, and then every so often those emotions might come up. And then if they do come up and you start crying or you just get mad, you know what I mean? You just get mad. You got to process it. Take a deep breath, relax, and just let them pop up. Those crazy thoughts are gonna just keep popping up until they pass through. Until they pass through. So you have to relax and just let them pass through. Just keep letting them pass through. And it might take you maybe a few days or a few weeks of this processing of your emotions and those thoughts. Once you clear all of that out, what you do that through meditation of some sort, and it doesn't have to be your traditional sitting down to no, you don't have to do all of that. You can do any form of just sitting down by yourself. No TV, no PlayStation, no Xbox, no phone. You sit down by yourself, whether it be, and preferably in somewhere quiet and peaceful, like a park. You just sit by yourself and allow your emotions and thoughts to just pop up. And the thing is to avoid attaching yourself to one or more emotions and thoughts. You can examine them, but avoid attaching to the negative, deep, energy draining thoughts. Don't do that, because that's only going to keep you stuck in a negative emotion. So once you get past that and all of that has flushed out, and you really feel like you can look back on the situation, on what occurred and where it all went downhill, that's when you can be able to do it, because you got to clear your mind first from the breakup, because a lot of people, they get stuck in that moment. Psychologically, they get attached to that moment rather than detaching themselves from that so that they can look at the bigger picture of what went wrong. And you have to get past your own self-denial as far as what you did to contribute to the breakup. And that's dealing with the ego. The ego deals with self-denial. You have to find some way to let go of that self-denial so that you could do self-reflection of how you contributed to the breakup. And a lot of times there's both ends, both people contributed in one way or another, and sometimes it really was the other person who contributed largely to the downfall of the relationship that led to a breakup / divorce, or whatever it is. So you have to clear out all of your negative emotions let them process, in which some of those emotions are still unresolved emotions that come from your childhood. That's another thing that I tell people, why I tell people, before you go into these long-term relationships, you have to do your personal development work so that you can identify and release these unresolved childhood issues that you have within yourself, so that you can avoid allowing them to sabotage your relationships, because a lot of people's insecurities come from those unresolved issues that sabotage their relationships at the wrong time. I mean, one person, like, you could be together and you could just be cordial at one moment, you could just be relaxing, and then one person just says something, then the other one is like, what? When you say that? And then boom, a whole new situation, destructive, that makes the relationship dysfunctional, all from that one little moment, because that one person had that major insecurity that they did not resolve. And that's why I consistently stress going through some form of personal development process. And that's why I offer people personal development consultations, so that I can help them identify what insecurities that they need to be resolved, and help them identify, overall, do a better self-reflection of themselves and self-analysis. And it's a series of questions that help them think, because a lot of people, believe it or not, they do not know how to do self-reflection and self-analysis throughout their personal development process. So they actually can utilize someone who has been through the process, analyzed it, and knows what they're talking about. So for me, that's exactly what I do, is I help people do their own self-reflection and self-analysis. So I'm actually helping them gauge through, or go through their own mind, and bringing up old memories so that they can bring it up to the forefront and analyze it. And then I assist them with the analyzing of it, and I just continue to ask them questions. So overall, the personal development consultations and relationship consultations is really a form of therapy for a lot of people. So that's what I recommend people going to my website, which the link will be in the description, to check that out and go ahead and get one of the consultations for either or with that. So once you sit down by yourself and you do your own self-reflection and self-analysis, you can get to the bottom of what happened within the relationship that went through the downfall. And then after that, then you have to also identify what you need to work on, so that you can better improve yourself for the next relationship. And that's where a lot of people fail. They fail to utilize that period of being single after a breakup. They fail to utilize that as their start of their personal development process, so that they can enhance themselves psychologically, spiritually, and emotionally, and if necessary, physically. That's where you have to focus, utilize your time, rather than just using a rebound of somebody and jumping right into another relationship. And jumping right into another relationship, even if it is just a so-called situation of friends with benefits, that's a big no-no. You got to use that intermission time for your personal development, your personal growth. Focus more on psychological, emotional, and spiritual growth. And that's where my website comes into play. It's specifically designed to help people in those situations and more, so that they can improve, overall evolve themselves personally, spiritually, psychologically, overall personally. That's all aspects of themselves, which is the foundation of themselves. So my website deals with the foundation. All of the information that I provide deals with the foundation, the psychological foundation of an individual, rather than all of the materialism that people get trapped in. That materialism distracts people and makes people think that they're grown and that they have their lives under control, when in actuality, when they're in stressful situations, that lets you know where they're at psychologically, what type of psychological strength and maturity they truly have versus what they have been projecting out to the world. So for me, when people come to me, I can automatically perceive throughout past their projections. So it's like when you come to me, you might as well just be honest, quit it with all those projections, because I know how to perceive through all through all of that crap. So I recommend that. So let's do a recap. A recap is, after the breakup, you have to sit by yourself. Go ahead, allow your emotions to process. You're going to be mad. If you're going to be mad, allow yourself to just be mad, but avoid being angry at everybody else and being disrespectful. Tell people that you need time to yourself, whichever way you need to do it. Let everybody know that so that you can recover from the anger. You can release the anger and release the sadness, the disappointment, because one thing you want to do, you want to avoid going into depression. That's where a lot of people's depression starts, is from a breakup, a relationship breakup, and you don't want to allow yourself to go into a deep depression or depression at all. But you might be depressed for a little while. That's okay. That's natural. Allow yourself to cry, but you got to come to a point where you got to start being resilient and you got to start picking yourself up. And then after you do that, do the process, the emotional release process. Then you can go ahead, clear your mind, and look back on how the relationship started, the middle parts of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you have to start analyzing as much as possible, including analyzing yourself, so that you can better off identify what you did, what you need to work on psychologically, so that you can help assist your next relationship successfully, rather than being the dysfunctional aspect of the relationship, because you don't want to be the one that causes dysfunction. I got to take my time. Dysfunction. You don't want to be that person that people run away from because they cause the dysfunction of the relationship, and that's where personal development comes into play. So if you really can't do this yourself and you really need help, then I am willing to assist you with that, with either a personal development consultation and or a relationship consultation, because you can get it both in one. Yeah, you can get both in one package. So we can work that out one-on-one. Just explain to me what it is that you are seeking. But you can do it yourself. I just explained it to you. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can go ahead and email me. And that is just one process that you can go through, one of the many processes. So I hope that helped at least a little bit. So you can go ahead and email me. Also, go ahead and check out the website, and you can check out the membership section, which you get a lot of informative information such as this and more regarding relationships, personal development, and also spirituality. You got the blogs, you got the unheard lectures that contain an array of information regarding those three things. And you got the forums where people can share and explore new information regarding those three topics. And you also can get my free Committed Relationship ebook as a member, and becoming a member is only $10 damn. $10 damn. That's it. Yes, I said it's only $10, so it is really, really, truly worth it. You can learn a lot of information, much more information than from my free YouTube videos that I have here. I give a lot more information in the membership section. So go there, sign up now, get approved, because you got to get approved after you pay for your membership, and then boom, join us in the membership section and get to know and meet new people. All right, that's that. Until next time, peace out.